Fight on, men and women of blue and white. Fight on with all your very might. Horses high is our battle cry. Fight, horseheads, fight. Keep up the courage to keep goals in sight. Fight, horseheads, fight. For a horizon that is bright. Keep fighting, old, white, and blue. Shall ever walk a path that's straight and true. Raise your head up to the sky for Horseheads high. With a final score of 35-21. Wait, was it 35-21? Shoot, was that 35? Oh, 35-20, 35-20. Okay, my Horseheads Blue Raiders defeated the Vestal Golden Bears in the first divisional game that they've had this year. See, the way it works is for Section 4 is it's classified, bigger and smaller schools. Horseheads is one of the bigger schools, and so they play schools of that size in the division. And Vestal is one of those schools, and we beat them. So in a few weeks, when come playoff time, if we're looking at divisional records, Horseheads has the better record, which is great. So I have a Blue Hammer Award to give, and I have much to discuss, so let's get things going. Oh, happy Saturday, everyone. Had to make sure I said that part. So I had a very interesting evening yesterday. Oh. One moment, please. I almost put my Dockers on the ottoman. Here we go. So, let's get to my low and my high of active kindness. Although I just mentioned I had a very interesting evening yesterday, that is my high. I'll explain in a minute. So, I would say that my low is, listen, Vestal's just really far away. They didn't need me to bring the cowbell to win that game. But, if nothing else, I'm really glad the Horseheads won. This is a huge step for them if they want to, win the Section 4 title and move on to the state tournament. That's awesome. I love that. My high is, okay, so if I didn't go to the Horseheads game, what did I do? I went on a ghost tour. Oh, do I have some things to say? I am so excited to talk to them about this. And act of kindness was, I did hold the door for some people yesterday. I did that. What else did I do? I was really bad. So, actually, I did help my mom watch my nephews for a little bit. Because my nephews came over and they brought a little friend. It was really nice. It was really cool. It's cool seeing kids play together. It's awesome. They're little kids now, but chances are they'll foster a friendship that lasts decades. Hopefully the rest of their lives. Anyway, so I have to talk about, first I have to establish who got the Blue Hammer Award, because I looked at the stats, and I'm giving this award to two people. Partly because I don't want to keep giving it to number 26, who is one of the two people on this award. Man, that number 26 is a grown man. But number 9. Number 9. Between number 26 and number 9, Horseheads has themselves a two-headed running back monster. And that is cool. And not to mention the QB. Unfortunately, I couldn't find his number. I think it was number 4. He threw for like 10 passes for 99 yards or something, which for high school is pretty solid. Each week, Horseheads is becoming more and more of a... Honestly, I think homecoming was the turning point. They're you know what? We lost homecoming. We're not experiencing anything like this ever again. I get the feeling, if Horseheads continues to play like they are, it's possible they'll be playing the Section 4 title at Horseheads. Which, that would be the ultimate homecoming gift for everybody. But, I have to wait and see. So, number 26 and number 9, this Blue Hammer Award is for you. Congratulations to Horseheads for beating Vestal, especially when Vestal was actually starting to come back a little. I was reading the stats, like, Horseheads was winning 21-0, but they started rallying back to make it 21-14 at the end of the half. But as soon as the second half started, the Horseheads was remaining in control. And that's really cool. So yes, 26-9. The Blue Hammer Award is going to YouTube. With that said, I have to talk about the Ghost Tour with you. Okay, so here's the thing. You guys, I've talked about the illegal tap house here in Elmira many times. And, you know, they'll have events there. One particular event was a ghost tour. Because, believe it or not, the illegal tap house, which takes place at the Federal Building, is a site for, originally, if I'm getting this correctly, it used to be an old jail. Not to mention, I just learned this last night, the city of Elmira is the third most haunted city in the United States of America. And you know what's funny, now that I think about it? I went to Gettysburg College. That place had ghost tours out the wazoo. Some even took place during the winter. But, I mean, here's the thing. I never really bought into, like, the hype. I mean, some people say they saw ghosts at Gettysburg, but, you know, you're surrounded by a giant cemetery. I'm pretty sure you're going to find ghosts somewhere. But here, in the Federal Building, like, there was just so much that was, like, going on. I mean, first of all, this was a ticketed event. I didn't really purchase it. In fact, I completely forgot this event was going on until I actually got there. And a very dear friend of mine, who may or may not be the absolute queen running the establishment that is the illegal tap house, or at least the events. Now, I see her for the first time in a little while. I mean, again, I see her up at the lake during the summer. I go to the lake during the summer, so I don't see her that much. So last night was our first, like, real conversation in a while, and she said, "Oh, you're gonna go? I'm like, I forgot the go. I'm like, I forgot the ghost tour was going on." She says, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "We're not having a ticket." She's like, "I'll sneak you in." That's what I'm talking about. Okay, probably shouldn't be saying this out, but I'm not gonna say who this is. But if you are watching this, you're a queen. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So I got to go on this ghost tour, and this was legit. Like, when I got there to where it was starting, we had to sign waivers. Although I tried making a joke, like, if I sign this waiver hereby give you my soul. That's not really how it worked, but I was trying to be funny. But we go down to the basement of the Federal Building. That's where a lot of the supernatural stuff is supposed to take place. And, I mean, keep in mind, it was already a pretty dark area, and it's been cold out lately, with the exception of yesterday. So we get down to the basement, and I could feel a chill in the air. Again, though it has been cold, but this was different. Like, I asked everybody, like, anybody else feel a chill in the back of their necks? Like, yeah, we do. And keep in mind, it was like they read, earlier that day, they read it was 80 degrees downstairs. And they still felt cold. That's definitely something out of the ordinary. So, and keep in mind, this was like a wine and spirit store. There were like snacks and stuff like that before we left. And they had, actually, I gotta give a shout out to the two drinks they had. There was like, it was like in one of those giant, like, dispensary things. There was like an apple cider with Prosecco in it and a green apple spritzer. I mixed them both. And I want to make one thing clear. Like, I had already eaten a pretty big dinner before going. So, you know, I wasn't buzzed in the slightest. And I know for a fact I probably had like several drinks worth of alcohol. there was one particular part of the ghost tour, and if any of you guys are watching this, and if you were there and you did this last night, whether it was in my group or the group that went before me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We go to the place downstairs where the actual jailers would be, right? I walk in and I immediately feel like, whoa. Like the sort of thing where like my legs felt wobbly. Now, I know I had some alcohol to be sure, but I was very much sober. I was well within my right mind, and I felt perfectly fine. I mean, I was able to drive here. That should tell you everything you need to know. Kids, don't drink and drive. Thank you. Anyway, so we get there, and keep in mind, like, before we really got things going, we go to like this first room in the basement, and we learned a little bit of history of Elmira. That's where I learned how Elmira is the third most haunted city in America. You know, facts like that. And like I was able to try, and they let us try dowsing rods and pendulums. Like, okay. And it was weird to use a dowsing rod. It's basically rods. It's two items. You hold them like this, and you say, "Show me yes," and they're supposed to cross. "Show me no." They're supposed to like spread apart. And it was weird. Sometimes I can get it to say yes, but not no. Sometimes I can get it to say no, but not yes. It was weird. But yeah, again, these things are supposed to, you know, detect if spirits are here. And I mean, the people who guided us on the tour, wonderful people, wonderfully nice people, had a wonderful time, very informative. And also, before I continue, this is the sort of thing where if you are going to do this, and you're already if you're already a skeptic, just try and be open. Seriously, there was like this one lady who had like an accent, total bitch by the way, where like, the guy who was like leading the group was like, "So do we all believe in like the supernatural stuff?" She's like, "No." And she said it so rudely. And like she was asked to leave, which, good riddance. I mean, listen, whether or not you do believe in these sorts of things, you at least should try and have fun. And that's what this was. This was absolutely fun. Anyway, so again, we get to the room where the jailers are, and we felt like, you know, like wobbly, whatever. And one of the tour guides had like an app on his phone. Stay with me, where if you're pointing in the right direction, you actually see orbs, and those are what spirits look like. It was so freaky that it was happening. I feel like, I mean, I may or may not have tried doing it on my phone. Didn't really work. But it was like really cool. Actually, shout out to this one girl that I saw when I was there, who I actually remember her from doing a choir at the Horseheads. It was the first time I had seen her in years, which was really cool. And it was funny. She walks up to me and she says, "You look familiar." I'm like, "It's weird. You look familiar too." I asked her what her name was. I'm like, "That's where I know you from." Oh my God. It was so cool. So shout out to this dear old friend that I saw. And you know what? I really wasn't expecting to do anything like this last night. I'm glad I did. In fact, there's one more Ghost and Wine tour next Friday. I don't know if the slots are filled up, but I'm not going to lie. This time I might actually get a ticket and go. Because this was really cool. Okay, so I suppose you guys are wanting to get the scoop on a certain question. So let's get into this. Do I believe in the supernatural? I do believe that when we pass on, something happens. Whether it's supernatural or not, I have some comfort. I say some because, again, I am dying. I've been afraid of dying since I was 6. I believe something does happen. To hedge my bets, I'll say the short answer is yes. I do. I mean, listen, take whatever I say now with a grain of salt. I was born and raised Catholic. In fact, I'm going to be going to church later this afternoon. So, I believe in God. And I do believe that, as the good book says, he does move in mysterious ways. And it wouldn't shock me at all if one of those ways happens to be allowing spirits to, be as they are. When you pass on, you become a spirit. I mean, depending on whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, that remains, up to, I guess, the person in question. I mean, actually, one of my favorite comedians, the machine himself, Bert Kreischer, he is constantly thinking about dying. He and, believe it or not, Meghan Trainor, I was watching him. Seriously, go watch the Something's Burning episode with Meghan and her brother Ryan Trainor. I think it's Ryan Trainor. Like, there's one moment where Meghan Trainor's like, because I do believe that we become ghosts when we die. And Bert Kreischer's like, I love your brain, I love your brain. That's my dream also. Like, seriously, Bert Kreischer, if you're ever watching this, like, first I want to get on Something's Burning, but you are my hero. Like, you're one of the inspirations for, why I want to be real. Seriously, I know I talk about Bert Kreischer a lot. I know he's the kind of person that you either like him or you don't, but more often than not, he said some pretty profound things. I mean, I could list them all right now, but that's a different video for a different day. Point is, the fact I'm not the only one that believes that something good happens when you die, that's already reassuring in and of itself. The fact that it's famous people, again, like Bert Kreischer or Meghan Trainor, that couldn't be more, I shouldn't say that. There's lots of things that could technically be more reassuring. But it's people that, or you root for, or you're a fan of. Or okay, if something happens after I pass on, they believe something happens when you pass on, I'll be cool with it. Or as cool as I could be. Because, again, I would be passing on. But, hopefully, hold on. Hopefully that won't be happening for a long, long time. Which means hundreds, if not thousands, of videos to go. I hope y'all like this video. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I am very humble in this video. For all of you guys watching, enjoy for today. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Remember, for the you guys want to talk to us, we're here to let you know what you're back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.